if you considering leasing a car, getting a car, driving a car at all, this video is for you. I'm going to break down some badass thing that's going on right now in the legal system regarding really leases in California stuff in general that's going to add a lot of value. So here's what happened. My buddy goes in to lease a couple cars over there at a dealership in California. And it was actually, wasn't sure if he was going to lease or purchase. Gets down there and they put him into had the cars all set up, like ready to go. Goes in there. I'm there with him. And I go in there and signs the deal. Now, first of all, this thing comes out called the Cenotac. It's this electronic little tablet. Not even a tablet. It's like the size of like a phone like this. And then it says, sign here. So he starts kind of like signing his finger on there, and it's like, and I was like, hey, what are you signing? He's like, oh, I don't know. I'm sitting there with him. What are you buying? He's like, well, I don't know if I'm buying anything. Well, why are you signing that? And he's like, I actually, sir, what is this? Well, you're getting this car. I'm like, well, is there a contract, sir? He's like, contract? You're signing it. Well, he's like, all it is a thing like this. You put your finger on it. No contract, no papers, no nothing. He asked for the contract. He's like, listen, I want to read what I'm signing because I don't even know what this is. Am I buying the car? Am I leasing the car? What is this? How much is it? What's the payments? He's basically going all by speaking to the salesman. And at this point, it's the finance manager. Finance manager is just like, no, we don't do it that way. Won't give him the contract. He's like, won't give me the contract. Just go to your printer and print the contract so I can read it. That's it. He won't do it. Makes all these threats and claims and bogus allegations. Turns out in California that the law requires the dealer to print the contract, give it to the consumer, especially on these leases. And the new law, which has even changed again more recently, has made it even stricter. Now, here's why. The leases, they have no cooling off, no cancellation. So when you sign the deal, if you're signing like this with your finger, you're done. You're stuck. You're in it forever. You can never quit, never cancel, period. Never. So the California legislature has made these great protections for consumers that says, make sure they get the thing and it sees in bold, big bold printed font that says, look, you have no cooling off period here, sir. You cannot cool off or cancel. But in this case, and I think it's pretty universal overall, this is not just a one-off. I'm pretty sure it's happening on every single transaction. What they do is they just do the Cenotac, you sign it, you go away, you say, have a nice day. Nobody sues, no attorney sues them, and they've been getting away with it for the last 20 years. Here's the bottom line. This is all about to stop. It's about to stop. The hammer's going to drop. Why? Because my buddy, what's going to happen, he sued him in arbitration. They got an arbitration clause in the contract that was really not even a real contract because he never even read the contract, never saw the contract. You have to actually get the contract in order to agree to something, right? He never got to see it or read it, but then there's an arbitration clause, so he's got to go to arbitration, so he can't go to court. So he's suing him in arbitration. Attorney reaches out this week and says, hey, buddy, what's going on? I want to talk to you about your debt collection case. He's like, this isn't about no debt collection. Rosenthal, FDCPA, what are you talking about? It was a debt collector attorney out in Florida. He said, this isn't a debt collection case. This is a massive consumer fraud case. 1782 of the Civil Code of Procedure, it talks about pre-filing litigation, basically warning the other side, giving them a warning shot because it's such a big deal what you're doing. You have to give a warning shot. You're required to. You cannot even not do it. If you don't do it, you lose. You're out. Jurisdiction. So you have to give them a notice in advance, 30 days, and say, look, guys, we got a problem here. Your machines are totally violating the law. Your dealership, this is a systemic problem. We think it's systemic. We don't think it's just one. We think it's a nationwide problem that you're not even printing the contracts for the consumers, allowing them to read the contracts. And we have he didn't even just have a guess. When you actually go into the leasing contract itself, on the contract itself, it says, and if you have a lease right now, or you've got a lease, you're going to get one. Look at the contract, and it's going to probably tell you inside of it, this electronic form that you're signing is the same as a paper contract. And then it will say on the top, an electronic document is this stored somewhere, and it's basically the same as a paper contract on the face of the contract, meaning that the face of the contract itself is against the law. Nothing needs to be proven other than they just have to say, was that their contract? If it was their contract, it was against the law, because California legislature has made it very clear an exception stating that any vehicle leasing contract is not allowed to be signed electronically. That's under 1667. I'm sorry, it's going to be 1782 is the preliminary notice, and then it's going to be 1582, 1709. Anyways, it's one of the civil codes, and I don't remember offhand. It's 1681. No, I'm sorry. Anyways, it's one of the civil codes of procedures. It says that there's an 1633.3. That's it. And it says that there's a provision in there that says you cannot sign, basically there's an exception, no electronic signatures on vehicle leasing contracts or even auto sales contracts for brand new ones like this. You have to do them in writing. The old-fashioned way, because they have this Electronic Signatures Act in California, that most of the time all contracts are fine to do electronically, most of the time. This is a very strict statutory exception. And when the law says that by the legislature, the courts have to follow it, dude. So you think, the court's corrupt, blah, blah. Dude, it's not, bro. It's not corrupt. You just don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing, because when the law says what it says, they have to enforce that. That's that. It says it. It's black and white. It's called statutory interpretation. There's no interpretation when it's black and white in the law. It says that this isn't, legislature wrote this, and there's no exceptions to it. No exceptions, you're out. So he's going to arbitration. He's going to win. He's going to get paid a lot of money. In fact, he'll get his cars. They're going to eventually make him settle. They're going to try to make him settle. I don't know if he's going to. He might not say, he might say, I don't want to settle. I don't want your money. I want to make a difference. They don't like that, because then you're really making a big impact, right? You're going to change the whole law and upset the whole system, because they want to keep doing this scam with people. But as soon as this case goes forward and if it goes into the Superior Court, right now it's in arbitration. If it gets done through arbitration, you may never hear about it. I think that's what's been happening. They've been going to arbitration with all these cases, and it's not public, so nobody ever sees them. They keep them in arbitration. Unless you get a judgment and win, then you go enforce it. But they can always pay the consumer and say, listen, here's a little bit of money, go away. Most consumers are always going to take that. In this case, he's got two high-end cars, and they're substantial amount of money, and he did not agree to the contract. He was not disclosed anything. So anyways, it's a big deal. 16 Vehicle Leasing Acts. Have you ever signed a lease in California? Look out. This is exactly what they're going to do to you. They're going to pull out the Cenotac. It's a little thing like this. You're going to sign with your finger. You have no idea, and you're going to have no cancellation period on that. So if you don't like it, too bad. If you walk out, too bad. As soon as you put your finger on that, you're done. Have a nice day. It's over. That's crazy, right? Like, that's how extreme that law is. And so that's why they make the dealers print the paperwork there and sign it. You have to read it and get a wet ink signature. If you don't have a wet ink signature, you can't write on the contract, we don't need a wet ink signature, we replace it with an electronic. That's what they do. It's not allowed. Anyways, hit the ones. I've got some badass freaking talks I did on this, deep dives. I'll see if I could post one at the end of the video, and you can check it out if you want to really learn more about this whole entire process. Like, I'm going to do a law group too, because, Gavin Mehl happens to be a freaking expert in the law. I laugh, but it's true. So anyways, I ain't no attorney. If you want to get legal advice, go out and hire yourself an attorney. If you want to go to court and get represented, hire yourself an attorney. And there are good attorneys out there. Go on Yelp. You can get a bunch of free quotes from attorneys, and they will give you a free consultation about your case. Don't go on the internet, on YouTube, and talk to somebody like Brandon Joe Williams or me. I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to compare myself to him, but I'm no attorney. Okay. And he definitely isn't either. You need to go out and get a real attorney if that's what you're looking for. Now, if you're looking for entertainment and education, then you're going to get it, because I don't hold back. I just tell it like it is. Hit the ones, and I'll see you at the top. This is Gavin Mehl.